Good morning. I think I just scared Jessie half to death. Just typical behavior for me. Just terrorizing her all the time. Hi, oh my goodness, lots of you are here. Okay, so we're going to finish the woven wagon wheel roses. Yesterday I flirted with the idea of doing a fringe, but I'm going to do a fringe on something else. So, good morning. Again, Sarah. Joe says, morning, finally get to watch a live, still days behind though. Don't worry. After today, or after this live, I have to upload the 2 videos from yesterday and then the 2 videos from today. So I'll get those up for you so you can stay on top of things, or at least try to. So what I'm going to do, let me just check the colors again, because I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like I'm missing a color. You know? I'll try these two. Okay, so initially, I plan to do the woven wheel rose and have them be darker in the middle and then lighter on the outside. But now I've added the buttonhole detail. So maybe we'll just try one and see. So the first thing that you're gonna have to do with these woven wheel roses is we have to make the spokes. So this is one of those stitches where you come up from the back and then you're going to over, under every other spoke. And then you're not gonna go back down again until the very end when you're all finished. So this is just a top of the fabric type stitch. Now with bigger wheels like this one, you're gonna use 7 spokes, and the smaller ones we're gonna use 5. Okay, so what you need to do is take your pen or pencil, because it's gonna be covered up completely, so it's fine. And you're gonna space out 7 spokes all the way around here. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Try your best to keep them the same distance all the way around. 4, 5, 6. Oh, that was pretty good, huh? 7, and then this one we'll do just 5. You can do 7 as well if you want, but 5 should be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one 5 as well. Anything kind of smaller than this, I would go 3. So you can do the woven wheel roses really, really tiny. They look really cute. You can do just 3 spokes. You cannot do 4. You cannot do 6. You cannot do 8. It has to be an odd number. Okay, and I'm gonna do all 6 strands because I want to make it nice and fluffy. And you might need a little bit more thread than you normally use for these, because these roses use a shit ton of thread. Let me just turn this down a little bit. Okay. Move that out of the way. So first we have to stitch the actual spokes. So you're gonna go, for this part, you can stitch them however you want. You're just gonna make straight stitches for the spokes. So there's no like formula, rhyme, reason. I just like doing this because you start on the outside and then your very last spoke, you end on the inside, and then you can get started weaving around like immediately. Whereas some people like to go out, in, out, in, out, in like that. It's up to you. However you feel like. So you're gonna make all of these spokes. Like this. Oops. Don't go through the black thread. You also don't want your spokes to be kind of like on an angle, like this. Yeah, you want them to be like they're coming out of the center. So all of them should kind of be straight out like that. Soup can in hell. Let me see if I can close this and maybe it will be better because it's really, really bright today. It's normally not this bright. But sometimes, because I have so many windows here, sometimes when it's so bright, it like makes it so you can't see very well. I think that's better. Double lives. Yes, Kim. Okay, so after we've done all of the spokes, you're going to come up again. And I like to come up kind of in the middle of the two. And from now on, you're going to weave under, over, under, over, under, over, every single one, round and round and round and round until it gets all filled up. Now, this is the part that I hate on a hoop stand because normally I spin my hoop round and round and round and round as I'm doing it, and it makes it a little bit easier. So if I were you and you're using a hoop stand, take your hoop off the stand for this part. I'm going to leave mine on so that you can see exactly under, over, because when it's not on a hoop stand, you can't see the stitches very well. So you're going to go under the first one, like that, okay? Then over this one, so you don't do anything, under, yeah, over, under, over, under. And now we're back to where we began. Now you don't want them to be too tight. So if I pull it really, really tight, one, it makes straight lines and you don't want that to happen. Two, you can't see the buttonhole, buttonhole. All you naughty people yesterday messaging me saying that I said butthole in my stories. Definitely said buttonhole. So get your mind out of the gutter, people. You want it to be a little bit loose and just pulled a little bit. Yeah, so it's round. The other thing is that we use an odd number because now we're back to where we started and we'll go over, which means that it will cover up that spoke that we went under the first time. Yeah, like that. So in the end, you won't be able to see any of the spokes at all. Okay, the other thing is that you don't want to pierce your needle through these threads like this. You want to go completely under the threads. So some people will change their needle for a dull needle that's not pointy so that they can go under each one a little bit quicker without fear of actually like piercing them, like splicing them. And other people will just turn their needles around this way and use the eye of the needle to actually go under. I don't like doing it this way because I often will put my finger on the back of the needle to kind of push it through. And sometimes I poked myself pretty bad from doing it that way. So I'm just going to keep my same needle the same way I normally stitch and just continue over, under, all the way around. I've just said don't do that, and I think I've just done it. It's not the end of the world if you do. It'll just make it a little bit like lumpy in that area. Do you know what I mean? So now we're back at the beginning again. And you can see why these, one, use a shit ton of thread, and two, kind of tend to take a long time. Especially if you have them connected to the hoop stand, because it's just a little bit awkward to get your fingers around where you can actually see me doing it, you know? Okay, so my initial plan for this was to make them 2 colors. So to use a lighter pink on the outside edge, which is why I've also pulled this color. So you can choose if you want to have 2 different colors, and they'll end up looking kind of like this. Yeah. Or you can choose to do just one color because we already have the middle detail. Kim says, these are my least favorite thing. They can be so fiddly. They really, they really can. And it really depends on how tight you pull your thread. You want it to just kind of lay on top. You don't want to pull it really tightly. So if you pull it really tightly, you're going to get almost like a constipated looking rose. You know, just like it looks uncomfortable. Please don't quote me on that. She said, although I think is mostly because I stitch with the hoop backwards. Okay, so what Kim is saying is that she stitches like this. Whoops. Yeah? So she hits the outside of the hoop a lot right here because it's difficult to get your needle through hitting that hoop. And that's why I like to do it on the top, because you have the whole area free. So I'm still debating. What do you guys think? Should I change it to a light pink for these last couple rounds? And that way it will be like 2 different colors there. Or should I leave it and just do one color for this? What do you think? So should I add some pink, light pink to the outside edge? Or is that a little too busy? Or keep it with the dark pink? No one's saying anything, which means I'm going to have to make the decision by myself. Kim says 2 colors would look cute. I'm going to go for it. And if I hate it, then I hate it. So if you want to change your colors, yeah. So this one you go over. This one you're meant to go under. I'm going to go down right before that thread and kind of tuck it up under there. Again, you're not going to pull too hard, because if you pull too hard, it's just all one piece of thread. Yeah? So if you pull too hard, all of these will get tightened. Same with doing a knot on the back. You're not going to pull very hard at all. You're just going to make a little knot there. And I actually have some pink here from before. Ooh, we've got 2 for 2 colors and 1 for just 1. I'll do 2 colors because I've already cut it. And then at least you can see, and then you can choose for your own pattern how you feel. Okay, so we've just gone down right here on this one. You're gonna come up on the other side of that spoke. And then you can continue with your over under, because actually we should have gone under this, but we didn't. We just changed the colors. So now we have an over one, and you can just continue going over under. Or under over, however you want to. Oh, it is quite cute. So you can decide if you want to do 2 colors or just 1. It's up to you. And again, like, some people aren't following the directions at all, and they keep messaging me and apologizing, like, I'm so sorry, I'm not following the directions, I'm just doing my own thing. Do it if that's what you feel like. If you're like, I don't like that, take it out, do what you feel like. The good thing about thread is that it's not very expensive, so if you take it out, you're not really like losing a lot of money, you know? Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. A lot of people would stop here, but I always go a couple extra rounds, and sometimes I'll even do a stem stitch on the outside edge, because I don't want to see these spokes at all. Even this little poking out, I don't want to see that. I don't like it, and I don't want to see it. So I'm going to keep on going around and around until you can't see it. Also, it'll make it a little bit more fluffy. So if you like fluffy roses, then you can do that. And I'll show you how to do the stem stitch around the edge as well. Okay, so this is where you can do the stem stitch. Now the stem stitch around in a circle is really similar to just a regular stem stitch. So we're gonna go down. I like to try to keep my stitches the same length as the spokes, because if you do a really short stem stitch, then you're gonna actually see it as an additional stitch. You won't see it as just like you've been going around and around and around. Does that make any sense? It will look like separate instead of looking the same. So with the stem stitch, what you're gonna wanna do is go down in the fabric, leave a loop, and then come up in the middle of this loop. So we're gonna come up right here. Again, you're not gonna pull too hard because it's all one piece of thread. And you're gonna make another loop, and you want this stitch here to be the same length as this stitch here. So from here to here was one stitch, and then from this thread we've just come up to this right here where we've just gone down, this is another stitch, and you want them to be about the same length. Leave your loop, and you're gonna come up through about the same hole that you went down for the first stitch. So right in the middle. And you're gonna keep doing that all the way around. So again, another almost the same length of stitch. Come back up in the middle. I've got a spoke right there, so I'm just gonna go a little bit to the side of it. This will bulk up the outside edge. It will hide all those spokes. Some people hate doing this. You don't have to, obviously. You can just keep going round and round and round and round. Just realized I'm off the screen. But the key to keeping it looking natural is to try to keep your stitches the same length as the spokes. So if you made them really, really tiny, it would almost look like not part of the flower. It'd almost look separate. Come on. Now if you make them too big, then there'll be like a line straight across the flower, and you don't want to have that either. So we're almost to where we started from. Like that one was a little bit too big. And all we're gonna do, let me make sure that it's on the screen. Okay, all we're gonna do is tuck this very last one up under there. And kind of help it lay flat like that. And then the back. Make your knot and snip it, and you're done. Now, some people like to take the back of their needle, like the eye, and kind of fluff up any pieces that you think maybe are sticking out a little bit. Some people like to actually pull some pieces out, so it's like a little bit more raised. I tend to just use it to poke pieces back in, really, like if they're too fluffy. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Yeah, one fluffy rose. Okay, I think I'll do one more and then leave you guys to do the small one by yourself. Or maybe I'll leave you to do both of them by yourself. So you can do both of them with the little ombre effect with the two colors, or you can do just one of them with the ombre effect. You can do all three of them different colors. It's up to you. The only thing you have to really look out for is to not snag these as we're going on. What's wrong with you? Jessie was laying on the floor and then she's just like jumped up like, oh my God. So this one might be better with 7. We'll see. I'm only looking at the space between these spokes and I don't want it to be too much of a straight line across the buttonhole stitches that we did before. And I think that it might be. So I'll be the guinea pig. And if we need to add another one, we can add another 2. Redraw them. Yep, that was my fault. Okay, so like always, I always start going under, because if you start going over, then sometimes it can like cross like that, and you want it to kind of follow the way around the circle. And you'll find out really early on. Yeah. See? That means you need 7. So for the small one, 5 will be fine, but this one you definitely need 7. Because even if it lays loosely, you're still cutting off that top. Yeah? Which, not a problem. You just snip her off and we'll draw 7 on there. Don't snip your buttonholes though, if you've already gotten that far. Yeah? So let me just use a different color pen and we'll do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's more so I don't get confused. I knew it looking at it that they were too far apart and I didn't listen to myself. It's quite pretty though, huh? I like the black detail in the middle. And they don't have to be like perfectly spaced. Like these ones are a little far apart and that's okay. They don't have to be 100% perfect. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, me too. Kim said I really love the buttonholes in the middle. I feel like it's a small detail that when we're going to do French knots in the middle. I think when we do the French knots in the middle, it'll look really pretty. Like an extra little detail. I might have to redo these ones too because they're too far apart. My thread is so short. Okay, so obviously you just keep going round and round and round like we did in the first one. I'll keep going until I run out of thread to show you. Just make sure that you don't snag these threads here. Now I've tried to do like the smaller ones first, like on my practice one, and it's actually not any more helpful. It was a bigger pain in the butt for me. If you want them all to match, you can do the same. Hola, Sylvia Dalla Pico. We're just going to keep going around and around and around forever and ever and ever. Almost done. Now, if you skip one accidentally, so say you do like 2 overs and then you realize that the next time you go under, you already went under there. So for example, if you go under here, it's like, oh, I've done under 2 times. You don't have to take it out. You can just go around again and make sure you do every other one over, under the whole time, and you'll get back on track. So don't be like, oh my gosh, I've done it wrong. I need to like take it out and fix it. This is terrible. Just keep going. You'll be fine. Okay. I'm almost on a thread. And I will add some light pink to the outside edge of these ones as well. Even if it's just a little bit. So they can all be like similar, you know? Okay. So that's it for me. You can tell here I didn't like pull it tight enough, so I've got a little bit of a loose one. That's all right. Okay, I'm just being a little extra careful when I tie my knot because you don't want to pull it too tight because it will pull them all. And of course, that's what I did. All right, so that's what we have for today. Go ahead and make your own choices, do your own thing. If you want to do the 2 colors, you can. If you want to do just 1 color, that's fine too. If you want to make them all 3 different colors, do it. It's up to you. Do how you feel. Make sure you're taking pictures, tagging, and yeah, I'm going to go upload the 2 videos from yesterday and these 2 videos from today, so you won't get behind, and I won't get behind doing too many videos at once. So I hope you have a great day. Make sure to do tag me in your stories and the Barmy Fox SAL if you do any posts on the grid so I can see them. I hope you have a lovely Wednesday. Bye.